I am speaking to you from the Cabinet Room at 10 Downing Street. This country is at war with Germany.
When the Second World War broke out in 1939, we had to realise that life in the countryside would be disrupted, even for us children.
The skies over Shropshire were filled with the drone of aircraft engines during the war. The county was used as a training area because the Luftwaffe rarely got this far.
There were rows of ammunition huts placed on the insides of roadside hedges and searchlight batteries a few miles apart.
Men went off to war and some did not return.
Bless 'em all, the long and the short and the tall. Bless all the sergeants and WO1s, bless all the corporals and their blinking sons, 'cause we're saying goodbye to them all. As back to their billets they crawl, you'll get no promotion this side of the ocean, so cheer up my lads, bless 'em all.
The Battle of Britain is about to begin. Upon this battle depends the survival of Christian civilization.
The air raid protection wardens distributed gas masks to everyone.
We had to observe the blackout, which meant having dark blinds fitted to all windows to prevent any glimmer of light being seen from enemy aircraft.
If we were outside at night, we would see the searchlights beaming across the sky and would sometimes get the rumble and vibration from the distant bombing of cities. The government decided to protect children from the risk of air raids and gas attacks by evacuating us from towns and cities. Most of us travelled by train with our schools, and we went to live with foster parents in the country areas. There were evacuees living with families in many of the parishes of Shropshire, and some had to live in the village halls.
Evacuation was an adventure for some children who had never seen the countryside before, but others were homesick and unhappy.
The start of the air attacks on Britain led to a second wave of evacuation, and thousands of children were sent overseas by ship. The air raid shelters that had been built in streets and back gardens provided protection for everyone. Some older children helped the air raid protection services by acting as messengers and fire watchers during air raids. The work was very dangerous and many were killed during civil defence duty. Thousands of school buildings were taken over for war use or were damaged by the bombing, and air raids often stopped lessons for hours. When we had gas mask drill in school, the teacher would blow her whistle and we would grab our gas mask and line up to go to the hall. There we would sit cross-legged on the floor and fit our mask on. During the war, most boys and girls between the ages of 14 and 17 were in full-time work and not in school.
Oh, the factories may be roaring with the boom-a-lacka-zoom-a-lacka-wee, but there isn't any roar when the clock strikes 4, everything stops for tea.
By 1944, 1 in every 10 boys worked in the coal mines. From 1941, all those aged between 16 and 18 were registered for national service, even if they had a full-time job.
There'll be bluebirds over the white cliffs of Dover tomorrow. Just you wait and see.
At 18, boys received their call-up papers for the armed forces. Girls were also conscripted when they turned 18.
If women and girls did not join the forces, they could work in munitions factories or the Women Land Army.
During these years, there were prisoners of war being transported to work on farms in Shropshire.
Everyone living on the home front in Britain during the war, including children, had to cope with shortages of food and clothing. Enough food from abroad could no longer reach us, and rationing was introduced January 1940. People were encouraged to grow and eat their own vegetables and try new recipes.
Run, rabbit, run, rabbit, run, run, run. Run, rabbit, run, rabbit, run, run, run. Bang, 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 bang goes the farmer's gun. Run, rabbit, run, rabbit, run, run, run.
Children were expected to do their bit for the war by salvaging scrap metal and other useful waste for recycling.
We also raised money for munitions, knitted comforts for the troops, and we were encouraged to dig for victory in our gardens and allotments.
When Britain is in danger, when trouble's in the air, we all forget our squabbles, its trespassers beware. The nation is united when danger looms in sight. We march along together and sing with all our might. We must all stick together, all stick together, and the clouds will soon roll by. We must all stick together, all stick together, never mind the old school tie.
When the war ended in 1945, celebrations took place all over the country.
On VE Day, we had a street party and a fancy dress parade, and a huge bonfire was lit on the village green.
Although food was still rationed, we were given fruit, sweets and ice cream, treats that we had not seen for ages.
There'll always be an England while there's a busy street. Wherever there's a turning wheel, a million marching feet.
When my father returned from the war, he seemed like a stranger to me and my brother and sisters.
For some children who had lost their parents or loved ones, or had been made homeless in the war, life would never be the same again.
Many children were orphaned or lost brothers and sisters.
Thousands of children were killed and thousands more were seriously wounded in Britain alone during World War II.
Around the world today, millions of children are living in conflict and in fear for their lives.
I don't want to walk without the sunshine. Why'd you'd have to turn off all that sunshine? Oh, baby, please come back, or you'll break my heart for me.